my name is Caroline. Welcome to my channel, my little corner of the internet, where I talk all about cross-stitch, sewing, knitting, and all the other crafty things I get up to. I'm back. I'm back in time, actually after only 1 week, to film a regular Flosstube update. Can you believe it? I can't. Well, I really wanted to be consistent with my videos, at least until the end of the year, but planning to continue that if I can. The main reason for me is the longer I have in between videos, it gets harder and harder to do them, just to get in the mood of filming, and you have so much to show. I got so much wonderful feedback from all of you at my last few videos. Thank you so much. It just means the world to me to share what I'm stitching and to get your input, get your comments. That makes me feel part of this community, which is just so amazing. And also I had my kit parade last week, and I knew that I needed to film this weekend because next weekend it's the Jingle Ball, and I might be able to film a little bit and have some ideas what I want to film during that weekend. But probably a lot of you won't be able to watch because you will hopefully be at the Jingle Ball and say hi if you see me. And so that's what we're gonna do. So video this week, and then you can expect one hopefully in 2 weeks again. Speaking of the Jingle Ball, I already said it, I of course will be at the Jingle Ball. I also signed up for a class. I'm going to do the Hello from Liz Matthews class and the jars because I'm really intrigued by that finish. I haven't stitched anything for those yet, so I need to get on that, but they're just small and I think I can do it until the Jingle Ball. Today is going to be a regular Flosstube update. I didn't have any allergy symptoms for days now. Today, I got up, I want to film, I'm sneezing. As always, you can expect glassy eyes and a nose getting redder and redder during the video. Before we get into Flosstube updates, I have an addition to make to my kit parade because I forgot one. I forgot a huge kit because it didn't live with my other kitted up projects. And also, since then, I kitted up one more project. So I want to show you those two to start this video off. Let's do the smaller one first. So, since last time, I kitted up this project. This is Sunny Day by Heart in Hand. And it's sunflower, and I have purchased this just recently and I hadn't put it into my markup, and when I went to do that I just realized it's small, it's not a lot of colors, let's just kit it up. So I have in here a 36 count linen, just a scrap, a regular swigert, I think this might be called cream, and then I have CXC colors because I like the coverage of CXC 1/2 on 36 count. This is called for overdyes and it has a DMC conversion, but I'm not the biggest fan of her DMC conversions, to be honest. So I just looked at what she suggests and then pulled some of the called for and some that I just liked better for that stitch. So this will go into my kitted project pile to start when I need a sunflower fix. All right, and the next one is a huge one. It lives in this bag, and can you guess by the things that are in here, by the amount of stuff that is in here? This is a chatelaine. So I finished my very first chatelaine in August, and I had bought most of the supplies for the big one together with the ones for the first one. So this has been in here for a while. In here live my supplies for Herb Garden, Herbolarius by Chatelaine Designs. And I'm planning to stitch that on a 28 count even weave. This is from Fiber on a Whim. Is it cappuccino? I think so. It's the same fabric that I'm doing my tiny towns on. It's the offcut because I needed a fat half for this. So yeah, and I thought this was perfect because I wanted an even weave for my chatelaine. I wanted 28 count to make it easy and beading easy as well. And I don't know if you can tell, yeah, it is neutral, but it has some greenish undertones, and I thought this would be perfect for an herb garden mandala. Yeah, and I need to check what is in here, and if I have everything that I need. There's NPIs, there's water lilies, there's stinky dyes, there's a lot of stuff in here. What's that? Karen Collection Wildflowers is also in there. That's cotton, I think. Yeah, hand-dyed cotton. Yeah, so I also have some of the beads. I need to go through that, see if I need something else, and figure out when to start that. I think I'm ready to start this next year. I would love to have a chatelaine on the go. All right, so on to fully finishes. The first fully finish I want to talk to you about, I don't have with me because it's huge, it's framed and it's on my wall, and it's my Fruits of Plenty. I will put in a picture here. I love it. It turned out so great. When I showed you the finished piece, I told you that I had a thin wood and gold frame for it. And then I think 1 or 2 days later, I found the frame that it is in now. I found this frame at TK Maxx and it had a print in it, and it's actually not wood, but I think plastic. But it's perfect. It was the perfect size for it and exactly what I was looking for style-wise, so I got it. At first I was a little bit concerned about my fabric margins because I didn't have a lot of fabric left on the top and one of the sides. And as you can see, I have quite a bit of fabric showing all around so that I could use the frame as it was. But I managed to frame it. I framed it on foam core. I first put on some batting on the foam core. Then I used wonder clips to attach my fabric, and then I pinned it. Is it perfect? No. But I'm actually super happy how it turned out, and I think it is more forgiving than my No Time Like the Present is because it has more fabric showing at the edge between the stitch piece and the frame. So if you're off by just a tiny little bit, you cannot see it as much as if you have a smaller margin. I just used pins. I didn't even lace it because I had basically half an inch on the back. I just taped it down with double-sided tape and put it into the frame. And then I wanted to attach it with some little attachy things that you hammer into the frame, but that didn't work. So I now got something that I'm going to show you in haul. I haven't tried it yet, but yeah, that's my framing story here. And I will also put up a picture with it next to my No Time Like the Present. I love how they look on my wall, but it's so funny. Next to Fruits of Plenty, No Time Like the Present looks so tiny, and that was big already. So both of them are on the exact same fabric, 32 count Lucan by Zweigart, and I have plans for a new modern folk embroidery on that fabric to go on the wall. So yeah, you can also see a little bit of my Christmas decoration on that picture too. And to counter that, I have a tiny frame piece to show you. This has actually been framed forever, but I don't think I have shown it on my Flosstube. So I need to show you. Here it is. Isn't this cute? Next to my face, you can see how small it is. This is part of the summer celebration, Summer Tier by Madame Chantilly. And I just stitched the sunflowers in the little cup with the seagull. and I wanted to frame it in a hoop, but then realized it fits perfectly into that frame, and I love the style matches so well, and it sits on my windowsill in my living room. Usually. Right now there is a little Christmas gnome sitting there. This is stitched 1/1 on 25 count Lugana with the called for DMC. Oh, I love it. Tiny and cute, and yeah. Let's put it here. Let's have a little summer in our video. I'm actually full into Christmas mode now. So yes, I still have some autumn up here, but you cannot see it. I pulled out the Christmas sweater today. Yeah, I'm ready for Christmas season. My living room is decorated. I have my advent calendars up. I am planning to start Christmas stitching now. Or I already have started actually. So yeah, super excited for this season. Let's continue on with finishes now. The first one I want to show you is my November Pretty Kitty. This is a series that I'm doing this year where I'm stitching a Pretty Kitty by Britter Cup Designs every month. And this is November. This is not the November Pretty Kitty that she has in her series, because that one has like a turkey feathers. And since we don't celebrate Thanksgiving, I thought I would stitch a little kitty in a basket. This was super fun. This is on 32 count, also light taupe Lugana. Stitch 2/2, the kitty is DMC 310, and the rest is just some overdyes from Stash. He's cute! And there's only December to go, and then we're done for the year. And then I need to think if I want to do a monthly series next year. Alright, next finish is a very recent one. I finished that yesterday evening. And ta-da! Yeah, so this is part of a chart from Modern Folk Embroidery. The full chart is a sampler garden by Modern Folk Embroidery. And I started this in May 2024 with some friends. And I am doing it on 32 count Lugana by Zweigart. It's Vintage Country Wood, this one, but the back side. And I'm using I used a variety of sulky. I really love how this looks, the color combination. I just realized I don't want to stitch the whole thing. It's not the chart, it's also not even the colors. I just don't know what I would do with it. Piece that big in those colors. I love the colors, it's just not something I decorate with. So I decided to, I changed up this little piece here. It is thicker in the original, so I made it a little smaller to go with the other sides and to just have one corner. And my plan is to put this into a project bag. And yeah, so that's a finish. And the project bag and the sulkies can go back into my stash. And then a very exciting finish. I've basically finished my first red sampler. But again, it's only part of the chart. And here it is. This is the top part from Lettres Carmin, Crimson Letters by Reflet de Soie. I have it from the Gift of Stitching magazine, but you can also find it on her website. I stitched this with 2 anchor reds, 1/2 on 46 count seashell by XGO Designs. And with that one again, I love how the whole piece looks, but I think the anchor on the 46 count is just a little bit too bulky and too thick to be super enjoyable to stitch. And then back down there are some specialty stitches, some ribbon, and I don't think I need the whole piece. So I stopped here. I love this. I love how this looks. And yeah, I already have a frame planned for this. So I looked through my frames that I have in stash. And first I found this one. And with this one, I really like the color of the frame, how it looks with the piece. You see? Oops, sorry. I really like how that matches, but it's too big. I don't really want to cut it down. So I thought about adding a piece of fabric down here that matches. Yeah, and then I found a vintage frame that I thrifted. I have everything out of it. It's very thin and light now. And drum roll, please. Okay, now I have my fabric folded up wrong, but it fits perfectly. I mean, that's meant to be, but I think the wood is a little bit too light. It's not, yeah, it's not ideal. So what I'm gonna try is put on, I have some walnut wood stain. I will put that on here with a small brush and try to keep the gold and see how that works. If that doesn't work, I might need to sand it down and buy some darker brown wood paint. Or any advice how I can make this darker? So yeah, that will go in here and then on my wall. So excited to have this piece done. Oh, and this was also one of my November WIPGO calls to get 1000 stitches, and I think I did about 2500 in November to have a finish. So that's my finishes for this video. Let's continue on to new starts. The first one I started November 12th, I think. I started this together with Adelaide from Adelaide Stitches. She did Nature November, and we started together a piece from Emma Congdon's Stitchrovia. This is from her Cross Stitch for the Earth book, and it doesn't really have a name, but I think I'm calling it Four Seasons. And I have admired this for a while and finally started it. I put this into very Eastery project bag, but kind of fit the vibe, and why not? Yeah. And fabric wise, I didn't know at first what fabric to use. This is very wrinkly, I'm sorry. And I finally decided to just use a white or antique white because it looks full coverage, but the white parts are not stitched. So, and I don't think another color would work very well. And I kind of didn't want to do it on 42 count, so I'm using 40 count antique white 1/2 with the called for DMC, and this is where I got up to. This is very wrinkly and not even serged. I need to do that. I started in the top middle for autumn, and I got just over 1000 stitches in. This is what it looks like. Yeah, so I had thought I could get autumn done before winter comes along. I'm over autumn stitching now, I have to admit. So I can just go on here and start winter if I want to. Or is there more autumn? I don't know, but yeah. The colors in this are gorgeous. They are so fun, so colorful. I mean, look at that. Oh. Yeah. And it's a very interesting feeling to do almost full coverage on a 40 count. And start number 2 is the complete opposite, because it fits in this tiny bag. In here lives my very first plastic canvas whip. I started this just a few days ago, and in here lives Sleigh Ornament by Dimensions. I will just show you like that. Won't even make a card because I hope to have this finished by my next update. Yeah, I'm using all the called for kit materials, all the messy threads, and I don't know how to show this to you. Let's use my tablet. Yeah, that works. This is what I have so far. So this is the plastic canvas that came in the kit. That's the needle that came in the kit. Yeah. This is interesting to stitch. It's kind of weird because I just holding the plastic, but then it's super easy because you just pull everything out and start. Yeah, I'm doing a little bit on that every day. I can't stitch on that for hours on end because holding the plastic, it will start to hurt my hand. So I'm doing like 2-3 strands a day. And yeah, I know there are those magnetic frames that you can use, but you go so close to the edge here. I don't even know how you would put it in. Yeah, and it's fine. I don't know if paper is different, perforated paper. I have never tried that. But yeah, interesting. And I definitely want to finish this by Christmas, which I think I will be able to do. All right, that is my new starts. I have been good. I have really focused in on some whips that I stitched on quite a bit. And so I didn't roam too much. Let's go on to whips now. So earlier I talked about Reflet de Soie Lettre Carmin being one of my November Whipco pieces, and the second Whipco piece for November was Yule Goddess by Sunflower Stitches UK, and that's actually a full coverage piece. For all my Whipcos, my plan is to do 1,000 stitches, and I managed to do it on that one as well. So, oops, here it is. Yeah, since last time I basically did 1,000 stitches of dark blue in here. With that one is stitched 2/1 10 stitch on 25 count even weave in the called for colors in CXC threads. And as I said, I think in my whip parade I prefer 1/1 full cross on 25 count. So I am not quite sure how to move on with this. So I decided to just do all the background sky in 10 stitch and then just decide if I want to do the foreground in full cross, but it will be a while until I do that. So yeah. I also feel like the coverage is better with full cross. You can see a little bit of the fabric peeking through here, but I think from afar it's fine, and also if I wash that it will fluff up a bit. And there's a little bit more on that side. Let me pull it out. So this is what I have so far. This will take ages, but I don't mind. Let's continue with the next Christmas piece and the next gold piece. And this bag here, in here is my Christmas garden by Blackbird Designs, and I'm stitching on this every month to get it done by Christmas this year. And I will. I'm so close. I think I have 1,700 stitches left. I finished my November section, and this is where I am. Yeah. So the only thing left is the Christmas garden lettering on the bottom and a few of the red berries in the border. And then it's done. So this, as I said, is Christmas Garden by Blackbird Designs, but I did my own color conversion to silks. I'm using Mrs. Seda silks and Silks for You. And I'm doing it on 40 count light nougat by XGU Designs. And I love it. I love it so much. So with finishing this, would you frame this and then hang it for Christmas, but then it would be harder to store? Or I thought doing a soft finish quilt type like to hang it on the wall, but would it do it justice without a frame? I don't know. Please give me an input. Yeah, I love it so much. And now I have one more whip to show you before I show you my temperature stitching. So the next one is Autumn Quaker by Lila Studio. For that one, I started it at the beginning of September with Selkie on 36 count platinum linen by Zweigart. And I really didn't like stitching on it because I found the linen just too boring. So I over-dyed the whole thing with red dye, and it worked out great, and I loved stitching on it after it. So here we are. Doesn't the fabric look stunning, and the stitching, I love it. So my goal kind of was to get this to 25% this year. Didn't quite manage that. I got it just over 20%, which is still very good considering that I didn't stitch on that for almost the whole of September because I was fed up with the fabric. So I'm doing this with my own Selkie conversion 1/2, and I'm super happy with this. A little bit over Quakers at the moment, to be honest, but yeah. I can show you the whole piece. I even ironed it for you. So here we are. And the thing is, yes, autumn is technically not over until December 21st. But I'm over autumn. I want to go on to winter and Christmas stitching now. So this will go into my WIP pile until next year. And I will use the colors I have in this bag to kit up Winter Quaker to start not on December 21st, but at the beginning of December, because I really itch to start that one. And I think I will start that one in the middle because, yeah, I need something else from Quakers right now. Awesome. Now that that is done, I have my temperature stitching pieces to show you because I made wonderful progress on them. So with temperature stitching, I have 5 projects that are assigned to a digit, and I look at the temperature that it was and stitch 100 stitches per day on the corresponding WIP. And yeah, I'm not too fussed about the temperatures. So I use AccuWeather because you can look back monthly on that website, and I will sometimes pull the last days or the coming days and just stitch on it whenever I have time. For me, it's not about logging the correct temperature, just stitching on some pieces that I want to get done. In here right now, I have the projects that have the least amount of stitches left to finish them. They are not in order of the amount of stitches left right now, but I don't think it matters. So one of the 5 is September by the Cricut collection. This has been lingering for a while. And I stitched on that yesterday, so it is in a Q-snap. So I will just show you what is in a Q-snap right now. I'm sorry. I'm stitching this on 32 count marbled hazelnut by XTU Designs with the called for colors, DMC and 1 silk. There are way too many colors in here. It doesn't need that many colors, but it is what it is. This is one of my oldest WIPs. And here's where I got up to. So I'm working in the M right now. And the last 2 times I finished up the sun. Is it a sun? And that little pumpkin. Then the next one. Oh, the next one got so much progress. This got cold so many times in the last few weeks. And for last week, I haven't completed my temperature stitching yet. I have, I think, 5 days, so 500 stitches to put into this. But it's a good thing because that is my oldest WIP. This is Henna Mandala by Ink Circles. Yeah, we're getting there. So I finished up that whole corner, working my way up here. I love how this looks. This is stitched on 32 count linen by Swigart. I don't have a name for this, but I think this must be light mocha. And I'm using a DMC 4130. I said it before with this one, I love how it looks. I just feel like stitching on that confuses me. I don't know where to go next, how to stitch. I don't know what it is, but I keep chugging away at this, and this will be done soon. It doesn't have that much left. So yeah, I need to put the last skein on the Flosstube and then keep going. As I said, this will get 500 stitches probably today. The next one is All Hallows Eve by Jessie and me. This is quite a recent start. This was started at Stitch in London, so in the middle of October. For this one, I did my own floss conversion to overdyes. And this is where I'm up to. I got so much done on this. This is not very big. This is on 40 count sampler khaki by XGU Designs. This is a Verdal. So it's quite hard to see, especially with the modeling, but it looks so good on that fabric, I think. Yeah, my own color conversion. There's some over one in here, the alphabet. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do that, maybe with some sewing thread, or if I'm doing something else in there. So I'm gonna finish up everything else first and then see what I'm gonna do in there. And these are all the colors that I'm using. I need to pull out this pumpkin and change it to a darker orange because this doesn't really show up next to the greens as much as I would like it to. But this is so cute and really fun to stitch, even though the fabric is a little hard to stitch on, but I love how it just comes out and how tiny it is. The next one I started at the middle of September, and it is from this year's Just Cross Stitch Christmas edition. It is Overnight Delivery by X3 Stitch. It is a full coverage, but a small one. And I'm doing it even smaller on 28 count 1/1. So this got, I think, 300 or 400 stitches, and it doesn't even show up. Just worked in the sky here. Yeah, I think it's going to be like this big. It's tiny, it's cute, I love it. I wouldn't really stitch on that for monogamously for a long time, but just for temperature stitching, it's perfect. And the last one is the one that is closest to a finish, I think. This is Spirited Stump by Nafnolu. And I started this at the beginning of October as well. Here he is. He's so cute. Ah. This is stitched on 18 count Aida, if you can believe it. This is just a scrap of Aida that I overdyed when I did some dyeing. This was my test fabric, and then it fell into my hands and it was just perfect for that chart. So yeah, I'm using the Called for Colors DMC 2/1 on the Aida. And yeah, I have the top here basically done, I think, and I'm working on the grass moss here at the moment. I need to fill out his belly because I ran out of floss there, and it has some yellow stars in the back. I'm not sure if I'm doing those yet. We will see. Oh, he's so cute. And yeah, for my colors, I ran out, as said. So for the smaller ones, I just started using some cardboard and pulling one strand, and if it runs out, getting the next one, which I really like for the small ones that don't use that much. So those are my temperatures pieces. A few of them, including this one, are really close to a finish. And when one or two are done, I will reshuffle and pull in some new ones. Let's talk about plans. So my first plan is, of course, finish Christmas Garden by Blackbird. Then I have my December Pretty Kitty that is already kitted up in here. And then I told you in the beginning that I have plans for a new Modern Folk embroidery for my Modern Folk wall. And I'm actually going to start a stitch along with my friends. And we're all starting a Modern Folk embroidery. And the one that I love and I have picked is a silk root. I think it's an older chart of Jacob's that he has revamped. And I fell in love with this. And yeah, gonna start that on November 30th, so tomorrow. I'm doing it again on the Zweigart Lucan 32 count. This piece of fabric is not big enough. I just have it in here as a placeholder. And I decided to do a fade from dark on the outside going lighter to the inside. And I want to use rusty reds and oranges. Oh, I think this is going to be stunning. I just need to decide if I want to start in the middle or on the outside. We will see. I have one day to think about it. Yeah, and with that piece, I feel like, well, of course it's not tiny, it's also not a huge modern folk embroidery. So yeah, excited to start that. Then I really should get a start on my stitching for the jingle ball. Ooh, I haven't even kitted that, so I need to do that today. But I also want to start another Christmas project that you saw in my kit parade. I really want to start him because he's so cute. We'll probably just kit that up in, I mean it's kitted, but just get another fabric for it that I want to stitch him on and get that started. Oh, he's cute. I really also love how the garlands here and it has beads. So fun. So that's a plan. And I think that's it, plan-wise. Let's just talk about haul for a little bit and then that's it for today. So haul, I was speaking about a little accessory for framing. I got a point driver, this is called Point Tacker from Amazon. Helen D recommended having something like this, and yeah, this is meant to shoot in some metal points, metal thingies into your frame that you can fix, that you can then, so that your piece that you put into the frame doesn't come out again. Do you know what I mean? Those things that you can bend in the back of your frame. Yeah. Yeah, I used a Black Friday deal to get that one. And then also, speaking of Helen D, she showed on her Instagram that DK Maxx, her DK Maxx had some wooden spools. And so I went to my TK Maxx a while ago. I'm in Austria, so I didn't expect to find anything. But I actually found some wooden spools. And yeah, so this is what they look like, what I got. Oh. And I got 3. 2 of the lighter ones and 1 of the darker. I hate that it's so hard to get off stickers. Yeah, they're not the really big ones that she showed, but those are the only ones that my TK Maxx had. But they had some spools and I'm super happy. So I have spools, and not only spools, but also super nice velvet ribbon that you can always use for finishing. So yeah, that's all. And that's actually, oh no, one more thing. I got 2 advent calendars this year, so I didn't get a cross-stitch one. I would have loved to get the Evertoad one again, but it just doesn't make any sense for me with customs. Yeah, unfortunately. So I got a yarn advent again, and last year I had the yarn advent from Maruma Yarns. You can find her on Etsy. She's a dyer from Latvia, so quite easy for me to get in the EU, and I was super happy with it, even though I haven't made a project out of the yarn yet. But I decided to get this ones as well and then see if I can maybe use both years for something together or parts of it. So yeah, I got her advent. Of course, I haven't opened it yet, but it came with a full skein of yarn and a little gift, and I'm gonna show you that because I opened that already as a little pre-gift. The full skein that came with it, all of them yarns that are in the advent are single merino, 100% superwash merino, and the color, look at that, it's gorgeous. Last year's full skein was a very neutral beigey one, so they could go very well together. And then she had a little extra in it, and it was 2 extra cakes of yarn. So let me see. The first one is Maruma Cloud Silk Mohair. While I'm not the biggest fan of gray, this is so soft and held together with something else I think is, yeah, perfect. And then there's also cotton with golden sequins. What would you make out of a yarn like that? I'm a little bit confused. I love it. I love the idea, but what can I make out of this? Shiny, yeah. So that is exciting. And then the second advent calendar I got is a tea one because I love tea. I love to drink tea, and it's always fun to taste and to try some new varieties. All right, that is it. Before I talk just a tiny bit about life and then end this video, I wanted to talk about some Flosstubers I've watched in the last few weeks. There have been my regulars, like my friend Sally, Flossy Sews and Grows. Always love her videos. I always really enjoy Megan, the Seattle Stitcher. I watch every single video of hers. I already mentioned Helen D, East Coast Crafter. But I also have a new one that I just discovered yesterday, and she actually clicked on her video because she has the same name as me, even though you spell it different. Her channel is called Caro Kirsch, and she actually lives in Germany, even though you really cannot hear that. And yeah, I watched her whip parade and super enjoyed that. Was an immediate subscribe. So if you don't know her yet, go and check her out. She does a lot of dyeing her own stuff. She even charts her own charts. So that was super interesting to watch. And then I also watched, I don't know why I haven't yet, but I watched Stitches with Charlie Feathers. I have one of her wonderful needle minders, and I thought I had watched her before, but I didn't. So yeah, enjoyed that very much. Then I also very regular watcher of another Caroline, Seasack Stitch. And of course, I also mentioned her already in this video, Adelaide from Adelaide Stitches. So those are just a few of the wonderful Flosstubers that I watched in the last few weeks, and I'm super excited to see what December will bring, because December is usually a month of a lot of Flosstubes out. A lot of your Flosstubers are doing daily videos, Vlogmas or something like that. I'm not going to do that. I tried last year, failed miserably because I got sick. I won't even try this year. I am happy if I can manage every other week. We will see. Maybe there will be a few more videos at the end of the year. I want to do a finish parade, maybe a plans video if you're interested in that. I also want to film next, like fully finished with me. So we will see if that works. It will all depend on what December will bring. I don't think my December should be too busy. I plan to have a Christmas cookie baking weekend with my parents in 2 weeks. And then there's Jingle Ball next week, and then of course work Christmas parties and stuff. So we will see. Yeah, other than that, the weather has really turned cold here. I'm looking outside right now. It's super nice and sunny, but freezing. My cat Mario is not very happy, at least happier than he would be if it's cold and rainy. But he's just a warmth cat, as most of them are, I suppose. He's been very snuggly and loves if the fireplace is going. So I actually think that's it for this video. It has been long enough again. What I would really love if you could let me know down below what you have been stitching or doing while watching this video. I'm always curious because I like to stitch while watching those videos, but I also like to clean and cook and stuff. So let me know. And yeah, as I said, I hope to be back in 2 weeks' time. And if you are going to the Jingle Ball, please let me know. And if you find me somewhere there, please say hello. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Bye!